Yo, I'm Signuri, or Queso. A lot of you know me by a lot of different names for some reason. But you, as the viewer, are going to know me as a young hustler making my way across the country to enjoy nature, network, and visit my family. Like I'm doing no matter what side of the country I'm on. But this part of the video specifically, the pre-trip vlog, basically in the name, is the preparation up until the trip. Now, this is kind of unique to each person, but seeing as I'm a 19-year-old traveling with a firearm across the country, and I'm traveling away from quite a bit to try to gain quite a lot, there's a lot to be said and done. So, let's get straight to it. One of the tough parts about traveling is keeping yourself occupied before the flight, because it's nothing but anxiety up until that point. So something I do to keep myself from going crazy, one of them is record music. Y'all gonna catch me drop March 5th Signuri on all platforms. By the time you're seeing this, it should be out and you should be listening to it. Now on a more serious note, I know I mentioned at the beginning of the video I'd be traveling with a firearm as a 19-year-old freshly turning 20. And the fact that things with immigration, security, and processing with TSA has not gotten easier since major security events in the United States of America, I think it's personally worth mentioning how I'm going to be traveling with this firearm as a young adult. So upon declaration of your firearm, you need a hard-locked case due to TSA's policies. Mine is specifically double-locked. You can get these cases anywhere. They don't care where you get it, as long as it's locked and it's hard-sided. You also need to travel with your firearm unloaded and the ammo in its proper casing. This stuff's not a joke. People get detained, delayed, denied, and apprehended every day because of firearms. And, a lot of rules written because of firearms were written in the blood of someone who wanted to look cool because they had a gun. So I'd recommend, if you're flying with a gun, do it correctly. You can have what you want. You just gotta do it right. Before I leave, I gotta make sure my city keeps my spot open. Hanging out with my like-minded individuals and discussing how to keep lanes and networks for any niche or business we handle open during my absence. Taking the time to spend around my family. As I mentioned before, things are getting crazy everywhere. And I hate to even have to mention it, but you don't know what can happen these days. Or going out and performing and kicking it with my city. Connecting with my community. Enjoying nature and my natural element, especially for comparison purposes. The mountains I'll observe in 24 hours will be a whole lot different from my own. I gotta know what I'm missing out on and coming back to. 24 hours from now, I will be taking off from Pittsburgh Airport to my layover destination in Chicago, to my final destination in Nevada. As far as I can tell, all my stuff's on lock. My city's handled. Now it's time to go explore the next one. I'll see you guys in Pitt. We arrived at Pitt, and just the day before my arrival, it was being broadcasted that ICE, or immigration officers, were going to be at most international airports, including Pittsburgh. Now, obviously, there's a lot of fear-mongering when it comes to social media. However, with me personally, it was smooth getting through security and checking my bags. I took the proper precautions and had all of the proper documentation. And to be honest, I wasn't even stopped once. This, however, does not change my political views on immigration standards in America, seeing as this country was built by immigrants. It's definitely some food for thought. However, I digress. This isn't the main point of my trip, and I can't let it affect it. Next was Chicago, and given that I was up half the previous night, and I fell asleep on the flight to the layover, my memory of navigating O'Hare was pretty blurry. It was also pretty crowded. After hopping on my last flight and taking another short nap, before I knew it, I opened my eyes to the glamorous city of Las Vegas. Let's see what magic this shiny city holds for us. My first stop was Red Rock Mountains. I love the hike. I love nature. And this city has amazing views. It gets quiet up on those mountains though, and it gives you some time to think. Something that kept reoccurring in my mind was, what was Vegas like before all this glamour? Before the lights in the casinos, Vegas was nothing more than another dusty railroad stop, included in the westward expansion. Sooner or later, people saw opportunities. You had investors and business owners and partygoers all throughout Vegas by the time it was the 30s and gambling was legalized. The next stop was the Museum of Illusions. I went pretty late at night, which was good, because it made it a little less crowded and gave me some time to explore some more of the attractions that they had there. Afterward, we made a pit stop at the Bellagio lights. If you're ever in Vegas, this is a landmark. I don't really need to speak for this, because this is the kind of timeless beauty that will forever speak for itself. The next day, I hit up a local spot closer to where I was staying in northern Vegas. A lot of locals might know it as the Mini Grand Prix. I did some racing and some outside rides. That place is always fun to visit, and I know Lil Bro likes that food. We also found this really crazy donut place called the Pink Box. They make some really exquisite donuts there. One of the best spots in this entire video, though, was Meow Wolf's Omega Mart. It's hard to describe this whole entire place. You just need to go for yourself, man. Trust me. Also, I did happen to work with some of the underground artists and hosts around Vegas. Shout out to Sicario Logan and Murky Waters for the professional hosting and the utmost respect shown on and off camera, and for the continued networking afterwards. I also happened to meet this really interesting guy. He dropped me some beats and peeped some of my music. From what I heard, this guy had some property in Los Angeles for a while and saw the rise and fall of a lot of rappers and producers in Los Angeles, especially during the 80s. Shout out to ATZ. I'm still trying to work on those beats, big homie. The next stop was the Mob Museum. This place really stands out, not only because of the name, but because of the extensive history, the forensics aspect, the marksmanship aspect, and the financial aspect of the organized crime that took place in America. Primarily in Las Vegas, Nevada, due to the gambling and easy access to corruption. You really need to visit this place if you're ever around the area. Very, very extensive. The same night I hit the museum, I decided to hit Fremont Street. There's always something busting over there. And you know for a fact I had to hit up Evil Pie. Shout out to them, bro. I used to work in pizza, but never for a restaurant that stays up till 2 a.m. serving Sin City. On that street too, bro. And you know I had to take some time to hit the range. But it seems that most ranges out there are focused towards tourism in Nevada, and they like to price to shoot their guns. I decided to go where it's legal to shoot my own in the desert. You know, ammo costs enough as it is. After we hit some of the landmarks in Vegas itself, I decided to go down to Topahall Station and hit some of the multiple ghost towns along the way. We ended up seeing some very interesting landmarks. One of the first being an alien brothel. You know I had to shoot a snippet there. Next was a clown motel, right next to the Topahall Cemetery, where I had to shoot a snippet, you already know. Then we got to the gambling hotel itself, and it was a very interesting vibe. You know I had to shoot me a beautiful little snippet. We also checked out some of the old abandoned mining areas across southern Nevada. And the history behind these places is very interesting. It's worthwhile if you ever get the time to visit and you're interested in that sort of thing. The last stop for me was the High Roller. Damn, Vegas. Your mountains definitely are different. In some ways better, in some ways worse. You know I'll definitely be back for that business though. I had no other choice, bitch, I had to grind. I just know I'm trying